Hello everyone, and a very warm welcome to Kognito Key. Let's just jump right in, shall we? If you think about any bustling, modern workplace, there is this invisible, dynamic thread that literally holds everything together. And that, of course, is communication. Today, in this explainer, we are going to unpack the really fascinating dynamics of formal versus informal communication and look at exactly how they shape the way we work every single day.
To really kick things off, I want you to consider this profound little quote. The very attempt of not to speak speaks a lot. It is such a great reminder, isn't it? Communication is just an absolutely unavoidable part of human nature. Whether you are actively exchanging complex ideas or just sitting quietly in a meeting, you are constantly communicating something.
So, let's define our first core concept for today: formal communication. You might also know this as official communication. This happens when information flows strictly through those predefined hierarchical channels set up by the company. It represents a very structured chain of command that employees are expected to follow. Think of things like official management reports, company-wide emails, or organizational directives.
Now, within that corporate structure, formal communication actually flows in four very specific directions. First, we have upward, which is your classic bottom-up flow, like a subordinate reporting to a manager. Then there's downward, flowing from top management down to the teams. Horizontal is completely lateral, so that is like the marketing department syncing up with the sales department. And finally, we have crosswise or diagonal, which bridges entirely different departments and management levels.
But there are definitely trade-offs to this formal system. On the plus side, it is incredibly reliable. Because it's usually written down, it provides crystal clear documentary evidence, and full secrecy can easily be maintained. However, it is notoriously slow. Working through a rigid chain of command can be super time-consuming, and honestly, it can even lead to the message getting distorted by the time it finally reaches its destination.
Okay, so on the flip side of that coin, we have informal communication. This is famously referred to as the grapevine, and unlike its formal counterpart, the grapevine totally ignores those predefined channels. It moves freely, it moves rapidly, and it springs naturally from our everyday human interactions, whether we're talking about professional life, personal matters, or just sharing casual feelings over a cup of tea or coffee.
And interestingly enough, just like formal channels, the grapevine has its own distinct structures too. It organically spreads in four primary ways. There's a single strand, where one person tells another in a straight line. Then you have a cluster, where information is shared with trusted people who then go on to inform their own inner circles. There's probability, where the message passes entirely at random. And of course, the gossip chain, where one person acts like a broadcaster and shares the news with a whole group.
Now, the grapevine is absolutely a double-edged sword. Because it moves so freely, it's extremely fast. It often saves a lot of time when employees just quickly crowdsource solutions to a problem without waiting for an official email. But it leaves absolutely zero documentary evidence. Maintaining any kind of secrecy is pretty much impossible, making it the absolute perfect breeding ground for rumors.
So putting both of these concepts head-to-head really highlights a sharp contrast. When we look at speed, formal communication is slow and methodical, while informal is just lightning fast. Formal is highly reliable, with a clear paper trail, whereas informal is much, much less reliable. And when it comes to secrecy, formal maintains it completely, while the grapevine makes keeping a secret incredibly difficult.
If you take away just one core lesson from today's explainer, let it be this fundamental difference right here. Formal communication is deliberately designed by the organization to maintain order and structure. Informal communication, though, that starts entirely organically, purely due to the simple human urge to interact and talk to each other. One is a rigid corporate construct, and the other is pure human nature. So how do modern organizations manage this divide? Well, the best ones actually blend the two. A lot of organizations have adopted what we call an open door policy. This allows any employee to just bypass that rigid formal chain of command we talked about and communicate directly with leadership regarding grievances or new ideas. It's brilliant because it beautifully reduces formal complexity by borrowing the swift directness of the grapevine. I really hope this explainer gave you a clear, structured understanding of the communication channels happening all around you. Before you go, I want to leave you with a provocative thought. If the grapevine is quite literally just human nature, is trying to strictly control informal communication ultimately a lost cause? Think about it. If you found this valuable, please subscribe to the channel and please like and share this video. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you next time on Kognito Key.